Hello. Welcome back. I don't.
We've had an adventure.
I don't know if you guys will see this way before he said we're not.
I'm not sure the order will upload these things.
But something.
Because episode 1 decided to take us straight into fucking,
crazy shit happened. You guys.
It took us right into the epilogue. Because apparently that's a thing. So let's go party hard now.
I still. What is even up with? You bet, Chief. Tell her to let you in. That's good to hear. Why don't you come right in then, my dear? I don't want to see you making any little posts online about how my party was too fucking problematic for you, though.
Ardata steps back and welcomes you again into her abode with a grandiose gesture. You're very, very excited for Ardata's party, and know definitely that you will enjoy absolutely every second of what she has in store for you.
Okay. I can't even properly react to that because my brain is still melted.
Yeah. Once you've stepped in past the threshold, Ardata blows you a toxic kiss and saunters off to mingle with her enthusiastic guests.
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot more people now. What the fuck? Do I recognize anybody?
I see Damien.
I wonder if you're that asshole who was all sad on the couch because your horns are kind of similar, but your neck isn't just, hey, you're the juggling clown. Oh my god, they're talking!
Yeah.
Hey, they're probably talking about hot dogs because they're both holding hot dogs, unless they're just eating while they're talking. That is also plausible and stuff, and that person has horns like one of my friend's Van Scholz. And, God. And there's Skyla. For half a second I thought that was Toronto. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not old enough for this fucking party. Anyway. Seriously, everything's different. How the fuck did that happen? How do these trolls have signs that aren't official sign thingies? Yours just looks like the rage symbol thingy kinda, except not really at all. Anyway. Hi.
The first thing that hits you once you're in the door is the music. It's a solid wall of bass that reverberates through your body down to your bones.
Ah, so we literally got transported into we got transported into the edgy dimension by being like, yeah, we're fucking down to clown.
It's so edgy that there's a Christian troll.
That's the edgiest one of all. This person reminds, just the horns, reminds me of this fan comic that I read. It wasn't a comic like the other fan comics that I read like Homestuck. It was a fan comic like an actual, with panels, you know?
Yeah?
And text boxes and, the person used to inbox me every time they posted a new page, and what am I talking about? The first thing, you already read that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this person's horns. They stick out of the back of their head.
Yeah. The intense dance track is blasting so loud you can hardly hear yourself think. It has to be this loud to drown out all the shouting coming from the living room. As you apprehensively advance, it becomes quickly clear that Linera is completely out of her element here. She's a bundle of nerves beside you, practically glued to your hip. When you actually step into the living room, she physically attaches herself to your arm.
Whoa, this is more than I was expecting!
You too. It's a scene of absolute chaos. The living room of the house is filled to the brim with rowdy teens dancing rhythmlessly to the pounding music.
Wait, that mark that she writes on her hand causes alternate dimension shit to happen. This route is weird.
The furniture has all been knocked over or otherwise destroyed, and you can make a pretty good guess of what's filling all the red cups you see in everyone's hands. Tea!
It's literally, the other route was fucking the pansy baby version of the fucking...
You're about to tell Linera you wouldn't blame her if she wants to dip, but you can't get the words out before you're being flagged down by a jade-blooded boy who's just muscled his way out of the throng of partygoers with a few of his friends in tow. Linera, you made it! Linera all but flings herself away from your body and freezes like a scared animal as the troll approaches.
And now his tie isn't done. Because we're in the fucking evil route or whatever. The route where he's not a fucking... Everybody was brainwashed in the other route, I guess.
For all the commotion and ruckus, he's still remarkably well put together. The vigorous dance huddle doesn't seem to have disturbed his sharp makeup or his impeccably coiffed hair. There is a curious red stain down the front of his white shirt, though.
Where?
Under the tie.
Is it his nail polish?
Probably. Somebody interrupted him putting it on because the party's too wild in this timeline. He has a slutty-looking indigo-blooded girl on his right arm and an even sluttier-looking teal-blooded boy on his left, though he shakes them off and waves them away by the time he reaches you and Linera at the entryway of the room.
Man, everybody's so different in this route.
Yeah, last time you were the slutty one.
Hi, Link. Yeah, I'm here.
You watch with amusement as Linera practically bursts into flame under his gaze, and it only gets worse when he sidles up to her to give a startlingly intimate embrace.
Did he just grab her butt?
Maybe. She squeaks and tries to hug him back, but is too timid to actually touch him with her hands. You can see sweat pouring down her face.
Okay, so he hugged her. Just the way that the sprite, like, glided over and then moved down, I'm like, what? Because, like,
yeah.
His hand?
Yeah.
Anyway.
After a solid 5 seconds that seems to include Lonk smelling Linera's hair, he pulls back to smile down at Linera with a heavy gaze. Linera's face is bright green and her eyes are bugging out of her skull from how flustered she is.
So his personality is different, or am I...
He's had a couple drinks right thus far.
Okay.
But she's not into it, you don't think? She's not into it, you don't think? It's hard to tell, but you kind of get the impression he'd be dead by now if she weren't. Either way, it's awkward. Lucky for Linera, Lonque either doesn't notice or doesn't care. He settles into a comfortable for him posture with his arm casually around Linera's waist and turns to you.
Do I need to stab somebody? Would you like me to stab somebody? This seems like a stab-worthy occasion. Like, I get the whole, she's not into it thing, but you don't just, assume shit like that. This is fucking weird.
Oh, who's this?
This is my... Did it...
Friend?
Yeah!
Lonque quirks an eyebrow. You have friends?
Dude, fucking harsh.
The question seems to leave Linera speechless, so Lonque takes the opportunity to look back at you. His eyes rake up and down your body in a way that leaves you feeling distinctly objectified.
Shut the fuck up, Java update available.
I've tried to install the thing a dozen friggin' times, I swear. Oh, aren't you interesting?
It's like a fucking 180.
Is there a reason you look like... that? What a question! He doesn't explain what that is specifically referring to, and given both your alien status and your state of dress, it could mean any number of things. You might take it as an insult if not for the way he licks his lips after he says it. You can't seem to pry his eyes off you. You look at Linera for a cue, but she's too out of it to give you any sort of intelligible sign. So you just explain how you crash-landed on this alien planet an indeterminate amount of time ago, and you don't really know what you're doing or much of anything about anything. The fact that your appearance could be due either to this or that you are generally a disaster of a being, irrespective of your planetary origin. How fascinating. I've never met an alien before. Well, you have. Well, you have lots of times. In fact, literally everything and everyone and everything here is alien to you. You find your word... you find your word diarrhea becoming more and more awkward and embarrassing as Lonque's eyes start burning a hole in the center of your chest.
It's weird. I thought about posting a theory, but I didn't want to be taken the wrong way. And the last route would have actually supported my theory, with Lank being like, they got neutral card information recently, and his says that he's like an emotional vampire.
Okay.
Apparently, a lot of people don't know what that means,
Mm-hmm.
and people just thought he was a vampire who was emotional. but I was like, so, but if but he's always the last he was the last person to troll call. He's the last person to Friendsim. Even his route got delayed. He's makes an entrance. He's a fucking performative emotional vampire. What was the word? God, what is the word? Performative. Anyway, he makes people emotional in a crowd, and he uses whatever fucking psychic bullshit to eat that or whatever the fuck. Which would have made sense in the previous route, because everybody cried and shit over the poetry. But it was a good thing. In this route, it seems like it's a bad thing. He seems like a total asshole so far. Ugh.
There's no need to be shy. I don't bite until asked.
Okay.
Lonke disconnects himself from Lanera as he rounds on you. It's like he's lost any interest in her existence now that you're in front of him. Lanera looks at you with a completely pathetic expression that readily informs you as to what your response needs to be. You'll be damned if you aren't going to be the best wingman possible, so you definitely ignore Lonque's blatant pass and turn the conversation back to Lanera. You ask Lonque how long he and Lanera have known each other. Lonque raises his eyebrows at the question. Oh, well, I suppose since she was chosen for the cloister? Some number of sweets ago. I don't remember, really.
It was 2.43 sweeps.
All right, then that many, I guess. Huh, that's a pretty long time, actually.
6 or 7 years?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive that you've managed a solid 2.4 of them without saying a single word to me that wasn't circulated to me secondhand from your snide gossiping behind my back.
What?
So she's never directly spoken to him, she just kind of gossips behind his back, is what he's saying.
About him?
I guess. Wow. Talk about whiplash. Lanera's eyes got big like saucers.
What? What are you... I don't know what you're talking about!
The tone of the conversation is totally morphed from fire to ice in an instant, though neither Lonque's expression nor demeanor have changed much. He slips in the knives with all the calm composure of a casual statement. What? Are you going to pretend you don't spend the better part of... Didn't spend the better part of the past 2.5 sweeps complaining about how much I disgusted you? Come now. You do know that everyone is aware that you're a nasty little bitch, right, Lanera?
Hey, that's my friend you're talking about.
I mean, don't take it the wrong way. I really don't mind.
Fuck you, man.
I'm hardly in a position to criticize. I was just curious what caused the sudden change of heart after so long decrying my vain and slatternly lifestyle. Have the impending ordeals finally made the little clock start to tick down in that dry, dusty nook of yours?
Excuse you? Excuse you!
Did you figure I was the only one who might be loose enough to be willing to clean out the cobwebs before you get shipped off to Space Church to never have the chance again?
Hey, fuck off with that fucking insinuating bullshit.
Just wondering.
Hey.
There's a long, excruciating moment where Lanera says nothing. She just stares up at Lonque beside her with a completely shell-shocked expression. But before you can try to pipe up in Lanera's defense, she bursts into tears.
I like how it says there's a long, excruciating moment when she just immediately falls to tears instead of...
Yeah. Oh, no. When Lanera suddenly turns and makes a mad dash to run out the door and away from the party, you're torn between running after her and giving this jerk a real piece of your mind.
I like the other end better.
Your mind's made up when you
Sort
look
of.
back at Lonquay just in time to catch him rolling his eyes. Hey, you say? That was kinda rude, don't you think?
Punch him in the face!
Lonquay snorts. Me? Rude? Are you perhaps attempting to fuck with me? Clearly you haven't spent much time around this bitter pill if you think that was in... Clearly you haven't spent much time around this bitter pill if you think that was anything short of precisely what she deserves. You concede you maybe don't have a full enough grasp on Jade Blood Cloister social dynamics to make a definitive judgment on whether or not Linnea deserves to have been so ruinously owned, but she's your friend, and what good are you if you don't stick up for the people you care about? I have no idea what even got her so upset.
Your fucking accusations, you're being all fucking jerk-ass? What the fuck you have no idea? What do you mean you have no idea?
Like I said, it's not like I really care what she says about me. But you don't get to spend as much time as she does being such a venomous little snake and act surprised when someone calls you out on it. Then why did you invite her, you ask? It seems needlessly cruel of Lonquay to lead her on under false pretenses if he never intended to be her friend at all. I promise you I had no such designs. The only reason I even invited her to this thing is that my ex is being a real blood-sucking bitch and no one else wanted to go. So you invited her just to get back at your ex in some weird way?
I don't know, man.
I was willing to give her an honest shot, but I've no time for a vicious, slandering nag who can't even admit what she is.
You don't invite somebody and then be mean to them. What the fuck? What even the fuck?
I thought it might be interesting to see what a crusty little shrew might be like if you could manage to wrest her bulge free of whatever excruciating knot she's got it tied into. But I guess now we'll never know.
Fuck you, man.
Well, this is clearly a conversation you're going to have to Switzerland out of pretty soon.
Switzerland?
Switzerland is like a place that's adamantly neutral in all things.
Ah, gotcha.
What? You try to explain the historical significance of Switzerland's political neutrality on your home planet. Lonquay's eyes glaze over like he's listening to you recite a sports almanac of cricket stats. That's nice. Anyway, since I seem to have scared away my date, why don't you stay a while so you and I can get to know each other a little better? You seem much more interesting than she is anyway. When did Lonquay get up so close to you? Your heart beats a little faster when he smiles at you like that. So poisonous and shamelessly laced with intent. Linnea is definitely not the only one coming off like a snake here.
I thought this shadow here was like a bolder line, and I'm like, did the art style change slightly, like visually affect? But then I was like, no, that's just shadow. Anyway.
I've less time to waste than most, my dear.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Never seen the value in beating around the bush. Well, maybe it'd be socially prudent for you to go after Linnea and make sure she's okay. But it's also not her volume of friend... It's also not her volume of the Friendsim, so instead of doing that, you're going to stick around and see what this spectacularly briary prima donna is all about.
You're not even gonna give me the option? What the fuck, man?
You had your fucking chance to bail out of this shit show, but all that's left to do now is barrel downhill as meteorically as you can manage. Fantastic. Care to dance?
Fuck you, man.
Why the fuck not? Lonquay laughs pleasantly and reaches out to take you by the hand. The contact gives you a little thrill despite yourself. He's got nice hands, soft and warm and well taken care of. And you know it's going to be one hell of a ride wherever he's taking you. Come with me.
Get out of the fucking way. I want to look at the background shows, man. Fuck out. Ugh.
You do. He doesn't lead you straight to the dance floor, though. He takes you around the throng of dancing partygoers over to the kitchen of the house first. You weren't expecting to find a familiar face waiting for you there.
Fancy meeting you here.
You don't find it that surprising, honestly. You two know each other?
You could say that.
That's just great. Do you give discounts to friends?
Huh? I sure fucking don't. Discounts? You know the price, pretty boy. Pay up.
You're a little confused. What is being purchased here exactly? Elwood gives you a funny look.
You a drone?
What? Hush. You do as you're told and watch as Lonquay and Elwood carry out their shady transaction. Lonquay hands over the credits and receives an opaque little baggie of something in return. Oh well, you guess you don't really need to see what's in the thing to figure out what it is at this point.
Drugs?
Drugs. As soon as the deal is done, Lonquay has his hand at the small of your neck and is deftly guiding you away from the scene of the crime. Is buying drugs a crime here? You aren't really well versed about the laws of Alternia, but it honestly doesn't really seem like anybody would give much of a shit about anybody doing drugs out here. You guess the clandestine transactions are just for the aesthetic.
Are Sarava's drugs illegal? Are these drugs legal? I don't... Whatever, man. I don't even...
Lonquay's got you back in the shady corner of the party and is pressing one of the tablets he bought into your hand with a sly grin. He expects you to join in.
Hey, what the fuck you think this is? What do you even think this is? I don't even... God, this route is so fucking weird.
You're like, hold on a minute. Your experience with alien drugs hasn't really been that great, honestly, and you're not sure you're that excited for a repeat performance. Lonquay's immediate response is to sneer. Oh, I see. You're one of those people. One of what people? You know. A bit boring, maybe.
You just handed me something that I don't even know what is.
And yes, I am boring. Deal with it, sissy boy.
Seriously, what the fuck did he even just hand us?
Drugs. He handed you one whole cocaine. There are many words that could be used to describe you, but you don't think boring is a remote contender. You're always doing all kinds of unbelievably stupid shit and getting into uncountable, wacky, and life-threatening situations. Is it really that fucking much to ask for there to be one time you don't rush headfirst into doing something you know is going to fuck you up and be totally awful? Lonquay's lips press into a thin, annoyed line. These things aren't cheap, you know.
I don't fucking care.
I bought them for you, random stranger I just met.
I don't fucking want them. Fuck you.
Well, you didn't ask him to do that, did you? Oh, come on. You're really going to be like this?
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, you totally are.
Haha, yes.
Lonquay sighs dramatically. Fine.
What are you doing?
Lonquay casts around for the nearest victim and grabs his attention with a hand around the wrist. To your dismay, it's your sweet and innocent hot dog chum, Damon.
Even old enough to be in here.
They're all children, Ashley.
I know, but there's some vague difference.
Yeah.
I think.
Alas, there's nothing you do to stop him from falling prey to Lonquay's wicked designs.
Hey, just punch Link. That's all you gotta do. Just punch him. Real good.
Here, have these.
Just punch him once, real good in the face. Fucking, look, he has such a punchable face.
What the hell was his voice?
He was like, oh yeah, great. Like a little kid voice. Except, I don't know, maybe he's not a little kid. I don't fucking know anything.
Oh yeah, great. Thanks. I like to put drugs on my wiener. What? What a tragedy. But before you know it, Lonquay has a hold of you again and is dragging you off. Let's just dance. You're not too much of a square to do that, are you? Of course not. Dancing is basically the one thing you actually planned to come here and do, so that's just great. You go along with Lonquay enthusiastically when he pulls you over to the writhing mass of bodies bumping and grinding on the dance floor. You get down to it. You soon discover that Lonquay has a, very interesting dancing style. And by interesting, you mean it primarily consists of directly grinding his body against yours in an incredibly shameless fashion. I think I liked Poet Lonquay better. Do you think he and Zebra would get along?
I don't want to think about that.
But pressed in as you are from all sides by sweaty and inebriated bodies, there's not exactly much room for Troll Gigas to begin with.
Wait, what? It is perfect, shameless fashion. From all sides, not exact. What? Troll Gigas.
He's being perverse, but there's like no room anyways, so yeah.
Okay.
Longway is up on you so close it's hard not to sweat. He has his hands at your hips, and your face fixed with sharp eyes. His heavy stare is nearly hypnotic, so blatant and undisguised is his expression. It's clear what he wants, and maybe that's more than you're prepared to give. But when he looks at you like that, it's impossible to look away.
Punch him! It's one good time right there. Right in the face. Knock out one of those fangs.
You just go with it. Why not? It feels good, and it's not like anyone else is watching. You're surrounded by trolls, boxed in, pouring sweat, and yet it feels like you're the only two people there. Longway draws in, teeth by your ear, and this close you can hear him easily even over the overwhelming pound of the bass. You have the palest skin I've ever seen. Yeah, you tell him you're literally F white, which is like blank. That makes you super racially inoffensive, FYI. You let Longway know he can see you he can see you any way he wants, which is even more woke than the making a decision.
To those who don't know, the FFFF is like the hex code?
Hexadecimal.
Yeah, for like literally just fucking solid white.
Yeah, with zero other color. Thin as paper. I can see all the way inside of you. All your veins and your red blood. You smell like candy.
Okay.
I wonder how you'd taste.
I mean, if I smell like candy, I'd probably taste like candy, right? I mean, that's the logical conclusion.
No, you'd taste like cheese. Wow. You say. That's like some shit a vampire would say. Presuming I'm a rainbow drinker would be awfully reductive and literal reading of my character.
How do you know what a vampire is? Kanaya didn't know what a vampire is.
Eh? I'm just making a blatant sexual pass.
Fuck you, man.
Oh, okay. Good thing that's all cleared up. You take this as an opportunity to really let loose, showing off everything you've got in the sexy dance acumen department. Longway is a little bewildered. What are you doing? You're like, what aren't I doing? There's a fire on the dance floor and you're stuck and you struck the match. You're just fucking it up in here. Really getting it. Breaking it down, bopping and crumpling and whatever. You're smashing your ass into everyone around you and getting hot and heavy with those lusty moves. There's a point where Longway has to step back. You presume to properly behold your art in all its glory.
Yes! Haha! I don't fucking
Be
know.
afraid.
Yeah!
But it soon becomes clear that it's not your prodigious dancing skills that have given him pause. You follow his startled gaze and see the calls for alarm. Bronya is here, and she looks pissed.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, shit.
Is Bronya your ex?
Bronya is still standing at the entryway contending with Ardata, and it looks like she hasn't caught sight of you yet, but Longway isn't wasting any time. Huh? Before you realize what's happening, Longway has you by the wrist and is hauling you away from the dance floor and off down the hallway.
What is going on?
Well, either she knows that he fucking was mean to the girl, or she knows that he's here breaking curfew and she's gonna drag him back by his pointy ears. Or some combination of the two.
Well, you know, if you're not chill with Bronya, then you're a fucking piece of shit who obviously needs to get your ass kicked. Bronya! Come help! He's being an asshole. Come kill him.
Punch him in the nuts. Longway finds safety in a bedroom. A respite block, you remind yourself. When you take stock of the conspicuous absence of any bed and the presence of the revolting-looking slime cocoon in which trolls allegedly spend their repose. You hold each other in a tense and nervous silence pressed against the locked door. What feels like an eternity passes, your breath held.
Oh, wait a minute. Lanier probably went home all crying and shit.
Yeah.
Bronya saw her, and she's like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? And Lanier's like, Link was fucking being an asshole, and she's come to kick his ass. That's what's happened, right?
Fine, that was one of the things I suggested a second ago when you weren't caught up.
Okay, I'm caught up.
Okay.
You said, was there anything else you suggested that my brain didn't register?
That it was either that or that she would just realized he was breaking curfew and came to drag him back by his pointy little ears.
Right, my brain was still...
Because she's like den mother of their little group or whatever, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
What feels like the sound of your blood rushing through your own ears is almost enough to drown out the music. Seconds turn to minutes and nobody comes to find you. It seems for now you've escaped Bronya's notice.
That's not good.
When you turn your head to look back at Longquay, you find he's been staring at you for some time. I haven't been able to take my eyes off you since the moment I first saw you.
Just fucking get over that.
You're just so interesting. You freeze like a hare staring down a snake. Longquay lifts his hand to brush a thumb across your cheek, fingers curling under your chin. You meet his eyes. His pupils are so black. I want to know what it'd be like to kiss you.
No.
Longquay's tongue darts out to wet his painted lips. Do you want to kiss me?
No.
Whoa. Well, you've already clicked on at least 2 mature content disclaimers to get this far. Why the hell not?
Hi.
I mean, what was the first one?
Whenever you go to Steam to download the thing, it's like, hey, warning, this has fucked up shit in it.
Longquay leans in and presses his lips against yours. He kisses much more sweetly than he looks. His lips are soft and wet and taste like blackberries. This beats making out with a couple of greasy teens behind the dumpster, that's for sure. When one of his sharp fangs nicks your bottom lip, you don't even care. But when a drop of your blood beads out onto his invasive tongue, Longquay draws back, just an inch. You taste sharp and dangerous. So like cheese. Like a weapon.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Is that a good thing? It's not a bad thing. I'm edgelord up in here. Longquay pulls back further. His hands slip from your cheek and his fingers trail down your neck to the rest on your collar. Thumb brushing against the thrum of your pulse. Have you ever paled before? Bro, I've never done anything before.
Can this even go on YouTube? I don't even fucking know, man.
We'll slap a big censor bar over his face.
What the fuck?
Longquay shrugs off his jacket and starts unbuttoning his shirt. Whoa! Is this really gonna go there? You're like, well, no, you've never done any alien intercourse with a bucket, but it doesn't look like he even has one on him at the moment. That was apparently the wrong thing to say because Longquay's face scrunches up in displeasure. Don't mock me.
Am I mocking you?
It's my first time. You figure laughing would constitute mocking him, so you don't, but the look you give him seems to say enough. Us Jades who live in the cloisters have been chosen for a very special duty. We're expected to adopt a chaste and ascetic life in service of the continuation of our species. And when we undergo our ordeals and are sent off-world, there's no such thing as sneaking out of the caverns. If I don't do this now, when? My life is nearly over. Will you help me feel alive? But before you can answer, Bronya's voice starts to raise shrill above the heavy music.
Yay! Come save me! Get me the fuck out of here! What was my voice for her?
It was like... Honestly, I think it was basically the same as your, Linera voice.
Yeah, but the Linera... Oh. Link!
Longquay's hands shoot out at lightning speed to draw you close. Before you can so much as gasp, he presses one of his palms over your mouth to keep you quiet. Oh shit, she's close, and from the sound of it, she's getting closer.
Link! I know you're here! There's a typo on her quirk.
Ha.
You need to come out and come home right now!
Longquay leans in close to your ear. Shh. What will you do?
Shriek. Gotta call his mom, this has gotten problematic enough. Fucking... yeah, that one.
You rip Longquay's hand off your mouth and start yelling for Bronya. What the fuck, dude? He's got stripes.
Yeah, just like Malik.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Lonquay tries to scramble away from you to make some sort of last-ditch effort to escape, but it's no use. Bronya hears you and comes running furious. She hooks the locked door off its hinges before you can even get up and let her in. You duck flying chunks of alien architecture and scuttle off to avoid what you fear might be further alien fists.
Link!
As angry as her voice is, some of the fury goes out of her face the moment her gaze lands on Lonquay's state of partial undress. She reflexively brings a hand up to shield her eyes.
What in the world? Put your clothes back on right this instant, young man.
Lonquay freezes where he stands, apparently accepting that he's been caught. There's nowhere left to run. If he doesn't intend to fling himself out a window, a sneer uncoils on his face. Oh, please. Save the Purity Act. Like this is anything you haven't already seen a dozen times before. Bronya's face goes bright jade.
What? What in the world are you implying? I would never!
Forget Linera. You've always been the craziest bitch in the whole cloister.
Excuse you? Excuse you. That is my mom friend you are talking about?
You know you aren't actually our Lucius, right? Bronya marches right up to Lonquay and slaps him hard across the face.
Hey, he has a bruise.
Cool.
Huzzah! Somebody finally fucking punched him! Okay, that was a slap, not a punch, but you know. Close enough.
Lonquay makes an undignified noise as he recoils from the blow. It looks like that really hurt. His face is stinging bright under the handprint. He forces out a strained laugh. My word, Bronya. If you wanted to join us, all you had to do was ask.
Excuse you!
Damn. You wish you had some popcorn right around now. You just kind of sit back and take it all in.
I wish I had a fucking knife. Stab him right in his stupid face.
Lonquay's invective has its apparent desired effect. Bronya is all but steaming at this point, hands balled into fists at her side. You kind of want to say hi to your friend, but she's a little preoccupied, it seems.
I'm not going to rise to your petty baiting. You know you're in the wrong here. This is not her voice. 1. We've spoken time and again about recklessly sneaking out to these parties, and now you're dragging Linera into your mess. 2. Linera has told me all about the things you've been saying and doing to her, and it is completely unacceptable, Lank. 3. You've had more than enough lectures about the way you treat your flushed quadrant partners, and it absolutely needs to stop. 4. You are coming back with me to the cloisters right now. When we're home, we're going to have one last serious talk about this, and if there aren't changes, there are going to be consequences.
Eventually, Bronya's overbearing hollering seems to finally break Lonquay down. He sighs, shoulders slumped, and rolls his eyes. Fine, fine. Bronya crosses her arms indignantly as she waits for Lonquay to finish fixing his clothes. Lonquay buttons his shirt, puts back on his jacket and his tie, but then he has to go retrieve his palm husk, which he seems to have discreetly slid over to where you're standing. He casually saunters his way over and instead of picking up his own device, snatches yours out of your hand.
Excuse you?
Hey, I've got to go, but let me give you my chitter information.
Fuck you, I don't want your fucking chitter information.
Maybe we can pick up where we left off later, sweetheart.
No.
Bronya stomps over to grab Lonquay by the ear and drag him home, but not before he's finished putting his chitter contact into your palm husk. He shoves it back into your hand, mouths you a see you later, and is then fully hauled out of the room. Hypocrite!
You need to shut your mouth.
And then they're gone. Friendship accomplished, you guess? Huh. Chitter mutuals. Double victory music. So, should we go play the thing where we see where it goes? Or? God, there's too much routes. I need to plug my computer up.
Hey, there's another do you want to understand screen. God.
So I don't want to understand.
Yeah,
I assume it's the same thing.
Yeah. you fucking game over me.
But the game is over.
I know, but...
You should feel sad that there's no more. For the twins.
I don't... Ugh. Goodbye. Goodbye to all of you. Goodbye to all of this.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Hi, we're here. Let's do a thing.
Yeah, don't even know if this is gonna get posted. This...
Gonna go finish Mac on a vampire.
Ugh. I don't even.
I don't even either. But we're hardcore. And good for us.
I really hate this guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is up with that? But let's keep quiet and see where this goes.
Ugh.
You keep your mouth shut and wait for Bronya to pass. She only shouts for a little while longer before the sound of her voice fades away. There are too many blocks in this hive for her to be trying to break down the door to every one, and she didn't look too closely at this one. You've lost her. When it becomes clear Bronya is gone for good, Lonquay lets his hand fall away from your lips and you feel him smile against your ear. Where were we? You turn in Lonquay's arms and look up into his blazing eyes. How can you alien pale without a bucket? I don't mind doing it without one. Sometimes it can be fun to get a little messy, don't you think? You're like, weren't you just saying this was your first time? Lonquay answers you with another kiss. This time, he means business.
Does that mean he's lying? I don't even.
Huh.
Okay.
Woo! You go all the way with this super slutty alien, then you slump out on the ground completely wasted.
Yeah. Okay, that's... So that was literally nothing. So that's good. Blah.
Maybe this all went kind of off the rails, but you have to admit it would have been a real shame if you got through this entire extraterrestrial adventure and never got to smash even a single alien. What would be the fucking point, honestly? I mean, whatever. This guy really did a whole number on you. You're lying spread-eagled on the floor as Lonquay is putting his clothes back on. Man, this is probably your most accomplished friendship to date. You're not quite ready to move just yet, but since you and Lonquay are such good chums now, you figured now's a good time as any to ask for his chitter. Lonquay seems surprised to even hear you speak. Huh? You want to add me on chitter? Yeah, you say. Isn't that what friends do? Oh, sorry I can't. My palm husk is broken right now. Lonquay says, while typing away furiously on his palm husk. He doesn't even look down at you. You're like, but you're using it right now? Lonquay rolls his eyes. I thought you would take the obvious hint. What obvious hint? Lonquay huffs. Look, I was trying to be nice, but you just weren't that good, babe. I don't often ring the same bell twice, but if I were going to consider it, you'd have to show me a better performance than that. Whoa. Holy shit. That's that, you guys. Your lowest low. Your first time banging an alien and you couldn't even satisfy him. A little seed of worthlessness takes root inside of you and germinates so explosively that it fills you up until there's basically nothing left. You die of shame instantly.
What?
Shame to death.
Well, hey, it's a different bad end.
Yeah. Hooray! Got a bad...
It better not ask if we... Okay, good. Didn't ask if we wanted to fucking understand shit. Why is there... Where the fuck is the cursor? This wasn't here. This was something else. Whatever. Anyway, that...
Well, I might tack this on to the previous episode or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean... Man, that whole... I don't... The whole route. All the endings except for the one where he had a fucking flower crown. Everybody was fucking brainwashed and fucking
Is there brainwashing flower crowns? Is that a thing in Homestuck?
not to my knowledge, but just just the I don't think that was any worse than, like, as far as uploading wise or whatever, any worse than some of the other fucking weird ass shit that we've uploaded.
Yeah, probably not.
Ugh. Not sure why this one needed extra warnings and not the Folly Coop one.
'Cause drugs. Drugs and sex. And beer.
Anyway. Let's go fucking... What's it called? Let's go cleanse... Palette cleanse with the fucking... The clowns. That'll be way better than this bullshit.
Will it really?
I hope so. It can't possibly be worse than this.
Oh, please let it be worse than this. But I'm like, which of these routes should I take to inform me as to the actual nature of this character? Like, was the part where he was doing poetry and everybody was crying, was that bullshit? Because, I mean, this route paints him as a pathological liar who will say and do shit to get into people's panties.
I mean, that makes sense for his neutral card thingy saying that he's an emotional vampire. But the card also said he was a poet. So I don't fucking know. God, this is Buzzer all over again. God damn it.
It's all strange.
Ugh. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I fucking hate this.